stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good evening, everybody. Up on the agenda here, RACOG. Yep. You're up. Put you at the top every time.
Hey,
so.
perfect. Just going to let you know that September 28th, next Wednesday, will be the RACOG board meeting, and that'll be at 6 o'clock at the Village of Carthage boardroom. And we'll have April Rogio, she's from the University of Albany Policy Research Center, coming to talk about the local food initiatives and policies. And I know she's going to ask the community some questions related to their local food system. So we'll be having her there. The Tuggle Commission annual dinner, which I think you should have gotten an invite. If not, let me know. Yep. Is it for October 20th, and that's at 5 o'clock at the Zero Dock Street restaurant. And they're going to do the community award recipient thing, which I see is on the agenda later, so I'll skip that part. And then the promotional video we're going to have done with CGI. They're going to do like that free promotional video of the RACOG region. It's now scheduled for October 9th and 10th. So they're going to try to hit, I think, when there's a River Fest in Lewis County down here, try to grab some video then, and then go around and grab some video in other places. So that's where we're at with that. There was a membership request. Town of Krogan has asked to join RACOG, so that'll be voted on at the next RACOG board meeting. And then digital radar signs. We've been talking to DOT, so we have now 6 municipalities that are interested in those digital radar signs that kind of just flash it at people or whatever, let them know if they're going over the speed limit. They also can record data, so you can actually pull that information up to see if there's a time of day or that type of thing where people tend to be speeding more often coming through. So then, you know, if somebody wanted to get law enforcement involved to police it or whatever, they could at those times. So we're continuing to look at options there for between grant funding and also just seeing where communities are planning on wanting to have those signs, or if they want them to be where they're portable. Because we're discussing with DOT, they kind of wanted to know where the communities are looking at putting them and stuff like that. So I'll keep you posted on that. And other than that, we have the Friends of the Black River Working Group meeting on the 29th, so next Thursday at 2 o'clock. And right now that's a Zoom meeting, but we're gonna, I think, maybe make that a hybrid meeting when we get around. So other than that, that's what I have. And the grants, workshops, all that are on the sheet there.
I don't know about everybody else. I think we'd be interested in the radar signs, definitely, to keep us in the
Yeah, I think I have you penciled in as one of those municipalities. I think you mentioned that once before to me. So we're trying to gather everybody. We keep adding more and more as more find out about it. So.
Yep.
Do you need like a tentative place where we would like them? Is that what you need from us? Or?
Yeah, what we want to do is just have kind of a rough map of, okay, these communities, this is where they want them. If you're looking at portable where you want to move them, then we don't need to know that. This is just where,
this is for the permanent
DOT, because DOT would have to know where the posts are going to go in. And one of the companies that we've been talking to said that lots of times DOT in some regions will actually cover the cost of putting the post in and the base for it and all that, because they have certain specs. So sometimes you might be able to work with DOT and they would at least do that part for you, and then you could just put your radar sign on top of that. So anyways, those are some of the discussions that we have to take place. So if we kind of have a direction of what the communities are thinking, it'll be easier to talk to them about what we're looking at.
Yeah, because I think we're looking at permanent ones, right?
Yeah, I mean ideally permanent, but there's a couple times even the mobile ones are better, just so you can move them around the village, because we've got a couple, up by the school and a couple other side streets that people are concerned on, so just kind of keep that in mind too. So, all right, Mickey, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's all. Yep.
All right, next on the agenda, approval of minutes, regular meeting, August 10th, 2022.
Motion to approve minutes.
A motion from Kim, a second?
A second.
Second from Patty. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next on special meeting minutes for August 23rd, 2022. An individual.
Motion to approve.
Motion from Kim, a second. Second from Patty. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And another special meeting minutes from September 1st, 2022.
Motion to approve?
Motion from Kim,
Second.
second from Patty. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Good. All right, August 2022 financials. Everybody got the report, the packet? Any questions, concerns at this point? Okay. Hearing nothing, moving on. DPW report. Gentlemen, been quite busy.
It's summertime, so.
Yeah. We got some shut-offs that we've been up on the list back there that we finally cleared off. Thank you. I did add one item to report. We got the emergency light.
Yes, I was waiting for power to go out tonight so we can test it.
Yeah,
But now the severe storms aren't here, so we're all set.
Yeah, we tested that. So. All right. Anybody else have anything for DPW?
Yes, I got a buddy that uses a wheelchair,
Mhm.
and he said over on Washington Street, I think over by the culvert, he said when he drove his wheelchair over, one end popped up. And he just wanted me to let you guys know that it popped up, so I'm not sure.
Right at the intersection of the...
I'm not sure. I can get back with my buddy and see what he said.
Yeah.
He was saying something about a culvert he was riding, and as soon as his wheelchair hit it, he said
Okay.
it popped up on it, and
Yeah.
then it went
I know we got
down.
one on Stoddard Street that we gotta repair because it's kind of broken apart and stuff like this.
So, but I can get more
But
specific.
yeah, but if he's on the sidewalk, that's not
Yeah, until we go out
good.
the sidewalk, yeah.
It's the one by my house. That culvert's all heaved up.
Okay, which we looked
I
at last.
talked to you about it this
Yep,
spring.
yep, I remember that
And
now.
a couple of years ago, they looked at it and still there.
What was, isn't that drain pipe in there too? That's where we kind of figured something settled or something without pouring some
Well, when they
blocks.
backfilled that tube, when they did the sidewalk, they added another section. When they backfilled, it would never come compacted right, and then it's worked out underneath it, and so the sidewalk is
Right,
collapsed.
so we're looking to probably pull some slabs and then put it.
Pull the slab and re-pour it,
Yeah.
put stone under
Yep,
there.
we'll add that to the, yep. Yeah, that is a safety concern there, yeah.
Yep. And then we're still working all our issues from the insurance company, the building repairs and stuff. Boilers in down at
Yes.
the water plant.
Yep,
That's all ready
and we
for-
got a hold of the insurance carrier to come up for an inspection for that.
Okay.
And, signs are down.
Yep.
So other than the sewer plant for siding, roofing down at Stoddard, we're pretty well knocked that punch list out that
Yep.
they brought to our attention, so.
Good. So you've worked with him. He's gonna come in then, or
Boiler inspection?
boiler inspection.
Yeah,
Okay.
they just got the information the other day there, so thanks to
Yep.
Lori.
All right. Very good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you, Gail.
All right. Anybody else have anything for DPW this time? All right. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll go on to, I guess, with your hydrants.
Proposal, yes.
Yes.
I'll have a copy
So,
of that.
as everybody knows, we've got some hydrants out in the village. After doing some testing, I will turn this over to Rich. We've got a little bit of a breakdown of numbers and what we're going to possibly look at doing for replacing these hydrants. Some of them are too old to get parts. We do have parts coming for a couple, correct? I'll let Rich kind of go on this one a little bit.
Yeah, well, as last month's meeting reflected too, is I guess there's a statement of village board minutes about Water's pump, or not pumps, but the hydrants to replace them, and we do have 6 Kennedys that are out of service. Parts, they're 1967s. Parts that even get repair kit form are questionable. You could try it, then it still leak. So it's just try and phase out the Kennedys. And what the top proposal is you have here is to put 2 new Water's ones in. Talking with TJ just before the meeting too, is we kind of identified one on Cataract Street and the other one over on Washington Street for the simple fact of hose lays in case you had a structure fire. And then the remaining equipment, as you can see, is $13 for a bolt and everything else. But down by John Drew's house and the one up on 12, we think we can salvage that with the thrust rings and stuff like this. And there is some damage to that one hydrant up here. That's where the 4.5-inch steamer insert comes into play. I didn't realize that they flopped out that day it did, so it's broke. We need a retaining ring, but it's also $300 as you can see, so. Or we can just go down to one hydrant installation. As you said, you'll have 3 working hydrants out of the deal, or just get the parts and get the 2 up and running. It's kind of your call. There's 9 out of service, but with the 4, the one down by Deer River Road, that'd be 5 back in line. So then we still only have 4 to contend with.
So the first part of the proposal is to do 2 hydrants then,
Yes,
and then fix
the other
others?
2.
The
Yeah.
other 2.
Yep, on 12.
So then we only have, so we have 4 out of 9 working.
Correct. And Deer River would be the 5th one down, so it'd be down to 4.
Okay,
That's
so-
just gonna be a gasket, because the guy hit by a plow. The only thing is though, with this amount of money, I know we have some outstanding bills from the water projects we did down on Deer River Road too, and the curb stops, and that's, I'm not really sure what we're budgeted for or come up with, so I mean, 14,000 is a lot of money.
I have a question. Can we roll this into the water project?
No,
No?
no,
It's already in place.
yeah,
And
no.
we'll have to look at our budgets, what we can pull out of the budget and still leave us
Right.
stuff to work with.
So we don't wanna delay either.
No,
because
well, we can't
we're
fix them
in-
all at once in this year. There's no way. We didn't
No,
budget for
no, I understand that. I guess what I'm saying is maybe we need to take the 2 hydrants off of this and at least get the parts for the ones that he thinks can be fixed.
Okay.
You know, because then you're talking, few $100 instead of $13,529.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking,
We still need a new hydrant over on Washington. Is that the one?
Well, that's the Kennedy one, and one on Cataract's Kennedy
Right.
too, so.
And we need one at least. So we need at least 2 new hydrants. That's
right.
because those 2 are in key spots. We got 3 in a row that are out right on Cataract Street.
So none of these can be fixed with the rings, any of this?
No, they're the 1967 ones,
Okay.
yes. Yeah.
we're kind of caught that we gotta.
So we need to, but you're saying you don't know where it's gonna come from in the budget, is that what we're saying?
We need to look at the budget and see where.
So
we're
we
going.
can't do this tonight then?
This
No.
is what we got left. There's equipment, source power equipment.
So I thought we had it. You think it's under power and equipment?
It should be like in maintenance and,
Yeah, that's what, there's tank maintenance.
I would think supply this one.
I would think so too. That's 27.
Oh,
Right there.
well, that's transmission and distribution,
This is all rolled.
but we only have 2,000 for that.
This is all rolled, that's a,
Meters.
yeah. No, that's rotating, so. Yeah.
Put that back.
I thought we had one for hydrant repairs. I'll go back and look.
no, I don't think we did this year.
We didn't do them this
No,
year?
I don't think so.
Equipment.
That's a transmission,
and
How much is in that one?
8,000.
distribution.
If we put it under that one. Put that one, I don't know what our prior years.
Could you,
Because we've got another contractual, source supply power contractual, which we have 35. We need to look at history on
This is
that.
what we have.
Oh, okay, so we got 27 left in that one.
so we should be okay then, right?
Yeah, we should be. I just don't wanna do them all. I was thinking just 2 new ones and then the parts.
Well, if we could do that, that's that 13,529, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
I mean,
yeah, I mean, and then you've got 4 hydrants working, so that's at least half of them
Mhm.
back in service, so. Alright, so you need a motion for a resolution for that?
Yes.
Okay, so a motion for a resolution to spend $13,529 on repairing 4 hydrants.
Coming out of, which,
Repair 2 and get 2 new, right?
Yes,
two new,
yep,
repair
correct.
2 more.
Coming out of which account?
We were looking at, this one. Source supplied power contractual, F8320.4. Okay. Any other discussion? Go around, Sharif,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Patty, yes.
Mr. Mayor, does that include labor?
Yeah, that's,
Yes, that's what the hydrant installation is, machine dig and labor is $3,200 for the contractor
okay.
on that.
Mhm.
Actually, what you're looking at on the proposal is $7,000 just for material, and the hydrants alone are $2,900.
I didn't see that.
And then there's $6,500 for labor to dig both, with $3,250, so, yes.
Did you get 3 quotes on that or just one?
No, because we have a contractor that does for the village, it's
Gotcha.
contract.
Okay.
Yep, which is the one on that.
Thank you.
And for as far as the hydrants, we can't go anywhere else because that's just a
Right.
regional sales with Watrous,
Oh, yeah.
so.
All right.
Now, I don't like $13 for a bulb either, but that's just.
And just so everybody knows, this was an insurance thing, we had to go through these hydrants and,
Well, we should be doing it anyway.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna be
you know,
regular.
this shouldn't even be the insurance company telling us we have to, we should just be doing it.
But hydrants are in stock as well, so I'll
Oh,
call us tomorrow and
fantastic.
hopefully by October's meeting, well, I'll be right around the corner here. But by the end of October, it should be up and running on that aspect.
All right, and then we'll work on the other ones next year. That's
Yeah, well, we'll have budget time then.
Yeah.
Kind of plug in some numbers too.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right,
Yeah, good question. I don't know what that is.
what's that?
I'll ask it when we get there. Oh, we're there.
Property maintenance.
So talked to Terry McKeever, everything so far so good. He's working with a couple of people, he's got a new one down here on Main Street he's going to issue a violation to. And, yeah, I think everything looks good unless anybody sees something that,
We approved 2 parking permits for Joe Davis and for.
Yep.
That was what we were just
Yeah.
asking,
Yes.
what is that?
So one of them was a truck he's like parting,
Repairing.
he's repairing or doing
Yeah.
work to or making this truck.
Oh, so we're talking
Right.
about a permit to have the,
Have
Yes,
people there.
because, and so what they
Property.
are is, if, you might not have that, I think is it in the Teams, is it in Teams, the property maintenance law?
Should be.
If it's not, I can
Should be.
send it to you.
okay.
Yep.
So what they do is, it's a 6-month, it's a 6-month permit,
Mhm.
and it can be renewed up to a year, unless there's
We-
extenuating circumstances. He can, it's at his discretion, basically. So property maintenance.
To allow for a non-moving vehicle.
Correct,
to be-
yes, for a
okay.
non-registered vehicle, yes.
And up
Yep.
to 1 at max.
Right, yep.
Mhm.
So he don't roll into this?
That's a
This is
whole nother,
separate?
that's a
Okay.
whole nother
Okay, that's
issue.
why I'm asking.
That's-
That's a
Okay.
whole nother animal, but, that, we
Another
will be,
year.
we'll be working on that this
Okay.
coming year, so.
All right, anybody else have any question on property maintenance? Up next, fire department. Everybody had their minutes? Chief's logs. All right. TJ, anything for us tonight?
2 weeks ago, I had hose test done, hose and ladder testing. I only had one 5-inch hose fail. It blew at the coupling, which is repairable. I had 2 other hoses out of date. Somehow they got into the rotation. They were way old. I don't know how they got into the rotation. We got them fixed. I got 2 members going to BFO fire class. I believe it starts in December, January. I'll get you the exact date for them. I will not be here October 12th for your meeting. I'll be at the school for 2 days, so I'll have somebody else in my spot. I was asked from the board, they're having a board of directors meeting tomorrow night at 7. I was asked from the board to see if one of your trustees could attend the meeting at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. The next couple weeks, the trucks will be going out for maintenance, pump test, and inspections to Northern Fire. I still got to confirm on some dates on that. And can't think of the gentleman's name that is up to Happy Acres, the old folks home. But he's approached me last week for a fire drill there. So I will be getting with the local fire departments around here, Mutual Aid, Bob McKenzie, and doing a drill there. And I believe we're gonna set one up for the school too. So that's all I have.
On the hose testing, I know you guys use water. Please make sure the DPW is aware.
Yes, I wasn't around that morning.
Yep.
And I meant to get a hold of Rich, said they were gonna use the hydrant, and that's my bad, sorry, Rich.
Not a problem. Just, we haven't always see a hookup, so
No,
they're pretty easy.
All right. Anything else?
no, that's all I got.
All right. On to the next one, which is the decision between what the fire department is going to do. We received no correspondence from them. The 2 options that we gave them were to turn everything over to us, the village board, and well, the other option was we stop using them and they disband out. What's that? Yes, Candace has some information going on. Kind of present. Everybody has this in front of them as far.
Yep, the 3 pages.
We will have copies available afterwards too.
Well, I guess first I would want to just say that we did see at least your meeting minutes that came out beforehand. Obviously, they haven't been approved by your body, but I did get to read those where you had, I believe, made a resolution to ask for clarification on what the board was asking for in regards to turning over property and accounts. And apparatus and all of those things. I'm not sure how much more clear that we can be besides everything. But I also then received a letter just a couple minutes before this meeting. One concerning a couple of upcoming events. I guess I'd ask for clarification from you, TJ. Are you asking us to approve these?
I was told this the last meeting to have, to submit a thing for events or functions. So,
Okay. I mean, I'll leave that up to the board. If this letter came over, I think it was a little bit after 5 o'clock.
Yeah. That was the one that presented.
Yeah. Did you see this?
Yeah.
No? Okay. I printed two, sorry.
You sent it to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sent it to us. It's okay, you're good.
So the letter says, please see the following attached for reimbursement and readmittance from the Copenhagen Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated fire contracts as soon as possible. Please also be aware of the upcoming events to be held by the CVFD in the following month. October 2nd, 2022, Fire Prevention Week, Fire Department Community Day, as well as demonstrations with the Copenhagen Central School. October 31st, 2022, Halloween demonstrations at the Fire Department. If you have any questions or concerns, please contact our Chief or President. Paramedically yours, TJ Williams, James Henry, President. So they're going to have a couple events. I have the list of their expenses.
So yeah, I think we, back to our discussion then.
Yep.
Yeah, I just, for the record, did want to say those couple things. I guess I have a couple of questions on that, but the obviously up to the board to approve both of those items. And I don't obviously think they were on the agenda for tonight,
No,
given that
yes.
we just received it. And October 2nd is before your
Correct.
next meeting. Okay. So a couple of items. Back from our last meeting that we held at the school, there were basically two options. One was to turn over all assets, and the other one, obviously, and continue to run the volunteer fire department. And the other one obviously was to abolish the fire department and seek outside fire protection from other entities. So I guess at this point in time, I've created this document that I've shared with the trustees here, advising them on either position and what the law is for each one and what the village's rights and responsibilities are. I think paramount to the trustees obviously is the safety of this community. It's not much to just say, we're working on it. At this point, I think a couple of different towns have raised, I think it's Harrisburg and Denmark, some safety concerns, which obviously, we're aware of. It hasn't fallen on deaf ears here. And then the other one is obviously the financial portion of the department. That's obviously come under scrutiny 2 separate times with the state, and then now. So at this point in time, it's going to be up to the village trustees if they're going to continue to work with the fire department, which, we still are waiting on some of the financial information. It has not all been turned over, and I know because I'm the one who gets to look through it all, that we don't have everything, and that things are still missing and haven't been explained. So we can, if we continue to work with the fire department, there's a lot of questions obviously that the trustees will need to discuss. Obviously, is this going to be a full turnover? Are they going to look at your meeting minutes and only want a couple of the bank accounts? Do they want the property? I mean, that's obviously going to be up to them. And really, what is this going to look like in the future if none of the towns come back? We talked about obviously the fact that taxes will increase 45% for all of the village residents to be able to support the fire department at its current funding level. That obviously does not take into account inflation or any other costs that may or may not increase. That would be if all costs stay the same, it'd be a 45% increase to village residents on their tax bill. Another thing that would have to be taken into consideration, given what we know of past practices and current practices, is it something that this board is going to want to endorse to keep operating at this time? There are obviously several cases and opinions about liability, not only for liability for you, not you specifically, TJ, but for the fire department operating within the village, but also in neighboring districts. Because if something is to occur in the other districts, that district is going to be liable for any accident. Obviously, same thing here. If it happens here, we're liable. If you're negligent in another district, we could be held liable. Village is also going to be liable in the event of death if we don't know if you've had your physicals or not. So if something happens and you're not physically fit to actually be fighting fires, the village could be held liable for that. I don't think at this time we had seen any approval or any physicals or proof that physicals had been done for any of the firefighters currently that are out there and active. The next item is currently, given the financial status of this matter with a couple things up in the air. Two key things from the comptroller reports, both of them that came out. One of their key findings was that department officials did not ensure that financial activity was properly recorded and supported, and that money was safeguarded. And that's coming from the state. And if you look at your current statements, it's possible that that is happening again. As a board, they're liable for taxpayer funds, they're liable for taxpayer money, and if for some reason they continue to hand over money and it continues to be abused, the taxpayers can sue the board, and they would then be held liable for misuse of funds. Obviously all things that are things we try to avoid, also misuse and waste of public funds. That's under Section 2 of New York Public Officers Law, and then you can also find a similar thing in General Municipal Law, Section 51. So that's something that they're going to have to think about and take into consideration, because keeping the fire department going, it opens up the village to a lot of liability at this point in time.
And us personally, correct?
Right, so that's under the New York Public Officers Law, that's Section 2, that's where you can be sued.
Sued personally.
Mm-hmm. If you continue to misuse and waste public funds, knowing that the funds are not being used for the purpose they're sent there for, yes. And then obviously the Plan B, the option 2 to start over. A lot of things that need to be considered here as well. If the board votes, they would make a resolution to absolve the fire department. After that time, they could then enter into contracts with neighboring districts to be able to provide fire protection within the village. If the fire department, we cannot do that with our fire department, so we can't contract with another company to come into the village as long as the current fire department exists. So in order for us to be able to do that, we would have to abolish the current department to be able to have others come in to the village to provide that protection. That would make us, the village, obviously responsible for having a firehouse still within our village limits in order to keep our ISO rating where it is or have it be better, as well as provide adequate protection to all of the village members. Obviously, the insurance portion is great, but the biggest part is obviously making sure that the residents have people who are actually going to be able to respond if we don't have our current department. So obviously that would entail having contracts with these other departments or companies or their commissioners, however they're set up here. Where are we going to store the apparatus? Where are we going to get our apparatus if things aren't turned over to us? Will this increase costs to the village? What will response times look like? And then obviously again, insurance. I believe that we have been, obviously over the past few months, examining all of these items to make sure that should something happen, that we are able to give adequate response times with no increased costs to the village taxpayers. At this point, the board, stop me if I'm wrong, but we're really between a rock and a hard place, because no one wants to see the fire department become abolished, but at the same time, with everything that we know and all the information that we've been given, is it a smart choice to continue down this path? Or is it better to step back, as the towns have said, reorganize, and then move forward? If something, if they vote to move in a different direction and abolish the fire department, then that doesn't mean that they're not going to be able to have another volunteer fire department in the future. That's obviously something that can happen. And it can start, obviously any time, but it can't occur while the current one is still in existence. So I think that that's just important to note. Is there anything else anyone would want me to touch on? Any questions?
So once we start down the path of abolishing, and something happens that we did something that the fire department cooperates per se, can we stop this process, or are we gonna have to?
So once you make a resolution to abolish them, your question is, can you then vote to rescind your resolution?
Basically, yes. If the fire department were to come around, can we stop that process
And rescind it? I wouldn't see why you wouldn't be able to. But it might, obviously, so my understanding, once the corporation no longer have a fire department, they no longer have a purpose. And they would then have to be judicially dissolved because they currently hold assets like the property that the building sits on. And that process could take a lot of time. So if you already get that process started, I'm not sure what that looks like at the Attorney General's office.
Yeah, that might be something, once it's in motion, there's no
yeah.
stopping it.
There is one way to stop it. I don't want to say obviously, but not from the board's perspective, but the community's perspective. So the community could say, no, we want to keep the fire department, and go the route of getting a petition signed and holding a permissive referendum in order to be able to vote to keep them. Obviously, which is why I think it's important that the village residents know that tax bill will go up, because there is that price tag that's on it to keep the department running at the current level of funding that it needs.
Right, and I think the towns have made it perfectly clear that if we continue down this road in the manner that we are, we will not get our contracts back.
That's correct.
So I think,
exactly, unless there are some major changes, we will not see the towns back.
right, so we can't afford, long-term.
That's correct.
We
Long
can't,
term,
right.
you cannot afford it. I think that when we last looked at it, we possibly had enough money for a year to float the department.
Right.
But because of the way your tax year hits, you would have to make sure that you are collecting that money in June.
Right.
So the decision needs to be made quite quickly in order to be able to make the preparations to have everything ready for that June
Right,
tax
because
bill to come out.
because that has to be done, the tax cap override has to happen in January.
Mhm.
So,
So, I mean, you have pretty much 2 months.
right. And I think given the liability piece of this,
Well, excuse me.
No, go ahead.
Well, I know it's a rough decision and everything else, but in my opinion, they've had 10 months, since before I was on this board, to comply and get everything you guys have asked for. And I'm not willing to give up and lose my livelihood and my future of my business for people that are just wasting the taxpayers' money. I'm not willing to do that. Period. So I already know what I'm going to do if this comes to a vote. Because I'm not willing to lose my livelihood over these guys. Period.
I think that's the conversation changer right there.
I'm not going to do it.
I can't, how do we put our families, we are fully aware of what's going on.
which makes us liable, because now we are letting it happen.
Yes.
Right.
And I'm not willing to go with that any farther. They've had the time. We've kept giving them more time that they've asked for, and it does no good. That's where I stand on this position.
Yeah.
End of story for me.
Sharif, anything?
He said it all.
What's that?
He said it all. Y'all know where I stand at. I already knew. Just with dealing with people in the military, the history I got, I already knew. So I stand with Mr. Colton over there. I'm not putting my family in jeopardy.
So I guess at this point, we need to make that
Is that a resolution?
resolution to start this.
I mean, if I would suggest maybe opening it up at this time for specific public comment on this matter, if that would be okay, just
The
so
board have any
you can
objection?
get any input from the few citizens that are here tonight.
And before we
If anyone
start
wants to
that,
say anything.
I mean, my opinion is, I personally think with me on a personal basis, I would not hand anybody the deed to my house or my land or the title to my car. Those are mine. I would not hand them over.
But if it was
But
all
there's-
these people's taxpayers' money that actually paid for all of that,
Okay, and I get that, and I understand that. And I am not opposed to taking over the finances.
well, that's what we've been asking for.
I'm just
And they
saying,
ain't doing it.
if it was me, there's no way I would hand you
But
the
that's-
deed
that's-
to my property and
But
the
that's our,
titles to my
that's the,
vehicle.
that's a village fire department. That, all that equipment over there, with maybe some small hand tools, were purchased with taxpayer monies. They did do some fundraising to make some tools. The ladies auxiliary paid for some tools and equipment. So granted, yes, that's there, but the bulk of that is the village taxpayers and,
In the towns.
and the towns that have put money into it.
And I
So
think.
it's
right.
not really going away, it's just coming back under the control of this village, not under the ownership of the incorporation.
Because, we have this issue that, we have a 45-year-old building that has not been maintained properly. Whether they say it is or not, you can argue that all day, don't care. The fact of the matter is, the roof leaks. They had a black mold issue that they did not have remediated properly. There's just 100 things over there that need an overhaul. And they have not put together a proper plan or anything to do any repairs there. It's lipstick on a pig, is what they've done. And so I sit here and I look at this, and now I am personally liable for every single penny that they use of taxpayer money. I'm out.
We'll go back to
But
the
the
floor.
sad thing about it is it's not even our fault.
No, it's not. No, it isn't.
That's the thing. It's been going on for so long. It's not even my fault. It's not even our fault that this fell on my lap. So
And not for nothing, we're down to a department that has maybe 15 people, active firefighters.
Yeah.
And that's counting fire police.
And that's not just us, though. That is a statewide.
Well,
it is.
It is,
It is.
but
But-
we're also, if you take those fire police out of the equation, we have now fallen under NFPA standard for staffing for a fire department in a village this size. So we got a problem. We not only have a money problem, we've got a safety problem.
And then,
And that's one of the town's concerns, is that we don't have enough people to staff. So,
and there was an article in the paper today in regards to that.
yes, it was.
Yeah, you're correct, we're not the only one out there, but we could be doing better to try to bring more people in. But unfortunately, with the current environment in there, we're not gonna get the people in there. So, all right. Anything else from anybody from the floor at this?
We're coming around. Oh, wait.
No? Bill? Judy?
I was just gonna say, how many times are they gonna get away with saying, no, I didn't know, and they don't do it? They aren't doing what they're supposed to do. The last I was told they only have 9 members. How can you fight a fire with 9 members? I asked that question. When I was in that fire department, there was a 60-man department and people waiting to get in.
It was a different environment back then, sir.
Way different. People work together where they don't anymore. You can't keep lying and stealing from the department and think you're gonna have a department. It's not gonna happen.
As a non-village resident, but a business owner, it does bother me, and I talk to my clients, and I hear bits and pieces, and I guess it always comes to me. Can I ask TJ a question? Can I ask? I mean, he can hear it as I'm asking the trustees,
You can ask
but
the trustees and.
I know that I have to be accountable on a quarterly basis for the beds that I make. I have to be accountable to the state every quarter for the taxes that I bring in. I don't understand, as that non-village resident, how or why they do not want to be accountable. It just keeps us all better people. I guess that's my question. I don't, and it concerns me because I do own a business, and if there is a fire, I don't want to lose my business. I don't want the fire department dissolved, but I also know that I do pay taxes in this town and I don't get a vote. So that kind of rubs me the wrong way. So yeah, I just don't know why, what are you holding back on? And I guess I look at it as, if there's lies and there's deceit, then come forward and come clean and get this all aired out and just start over. Make it right.
Okay.
I don't know, that's...
Okay, thank you.
I think
I'll
the
go.
safety of our children, our grandchildren, what bothers me a lot is when you have a scanner in your home and you listen when there's a call. The response time is not very good. And there's one in particular that's older than I am, that's usually the first responder. And there's young people that are not involved because it's not the type of thing they want to do. And we used to go to school and we did safety things at school every year. And we took kids through the smoke machine or the smoke trailer and things like that. And those things haven't been being done. And, you know, the auxiliary is an entity that we don't get taxpayer money. I don't think a lot of people realize that.
That's right.
The money that we get is money that we raise by events and donations. And we try to be a community service, and, you know, and the fire department, it's just changed. It's not the same as it was before, when there was a waiting list of people that wanted to be in. We have good firefighters that have been, they've left the department because of things that go on that they didn't like.
Sure.
And, you know, it just bothers me terribly, as a great-grandmother, as a person, who also pays taxes.
Go on.
Well, there's over a half dozen of us sitting right here now. It used to be in the department and got out because of the nonsense.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So, all right, thank you. Going down, I know I got Julie and then Mickey. Go ahead.
Mickey. Do you think this is adversity because you had 3 members on this village board? They're very anti-fire department. So they're butting heads with you people because you're butting heads with them.
Who's anti-fire department?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. I've talked to all 3 of you people, and I know where you're coming from.
I'm sorry, I'm not anti-fire department at all.
No.
Well,
I
that's your
want-
opinion. I've got
I
mine.
have only asked for accountability on this
I
board.
understand that.
And
But it goes
if-
back to when you were running for office and your representatives were telling all this stuff, and I'm listening to them, and I have my opinions, and of course you have yours, obviously. But it seems to me like there's adversity on 3 members of this board against the fire department, and don't seem to want to work. And as long as you're fighting Mr. Henry, who is on the head of the board of directors, you have no control over him, so he's going to do what he wants to do. And do you try to cooperate with him? No. And he's butting heads with you, and he's not going to cooperate with you.
But where?
See, I try
yeah,
to,
I'm trying to understand.
See, I try to stay away from opinions, from having my opinions and then having your opinion. And the only thing that I'm going off of is the report. That's it. That's all my answers. I'm not making anything up. I found the report. I looked at the report and I pulled them out and I started looking at it, and it's the same thing. So it's not necessarily my opinion. It's a report.
But isn't that what you're
Yes, sir.
saying?
And we're
But
working
they're not
within-
cooperating with you to come up with the reports because they know you're anti-fire department.
That's not
But we're
anti,
not anti-fire.
it's not
We're
anti-fire.
The
holding them
only-
accountable.
We're asking,
Accountability.
as
So
a fireman,
accountability.
what
So-
they think of you,
So
the
I,
board.
so I think the issue is, and what everybody forgets, is that the only people that have been fighting for this fire department with your towns is this group of people sitting right here. We were at the towns begging for time, begging for more time, begging for more time. We can get this under control. We can do this.
But how
We
did
were
you get
doing
in this
that.
situation to start with where you had to go that route?
Because of financial
Because of the
issues.
financial issues, and now it's become
You
a
quit
safety
the fire
issue.
department for what reason?
I had to because I'm sitting on this board. I served my time. I served as a chief. I served as other parts in that. I got voted out at 9 months because I was, quote, making rules. If you remember, there was a PESH investigation at the time. I wasn't making the rules. I was being told by PESH what needed to be done, and I was doing that. And they decided to change the election time and get me out. So again,
It's-
where is that coming from?
I don't want to group people together. So I don't want to say it's the fire department. So let's get this right. This is a leadership problem. Who is the leadership? That's where the problem comes from. It's not the fire departments, the firefighters themselves. Because that's how I feel like everybody's looking at me like, well, you don't like the fire. No, it's not the firefighters. It's the leadership. Who is the leadership? Who controls the money? Who makes the decisions? That's who I'm talking about. Not the whole fire department, just the people who runs the show. Because anything goes wrong in the town, who are you going to come talk to? Come on, talk to us.
We're liable, personally
So
now.
it's the leadership. It's not the fire department as a whole. The leadership. Whoever runs the show, that's who I'm talking to. Whoever holds the money, that's who I'm talking to. Whoever does anything with the money, that's who I'm talking to. Who holds the bag? Who's responsible for the...
Right.
That's who I'm talking to right there. It's not the whole fire department.
Right.
Who holds the bag? That's where it's at.
So,
And unfortunately, we hold the bag. Because,
You're the ones who gave them the
We're
money.
what?
right,
yeah,
because we're aware of
the way they're spending.
the way they're handling their affairs.
So you could say we're not anti-fire department, anti-corruption. If you want to put it that way.
Yeah, sure. Anti-corruption. Because it falls on me.
Falls
On
on
us.
the
I'm
board.
sorry, falls on us.
Well, and we still individually.
Yes, and individually we can be sued.
And they
So,
both said it. It's perfect. Someone said it. It's the environment. So who's in
The environment
charge?
has changed.
Who's in charge? Who's in charge of the environment? It's the leadership. It's this is basic army stuff. The leadership. I'm in charge of my squad. I'm in charge of that.
All right. Scott?
I know you folks have a tough decision to make. It's never easy. It never has been. It never will be. Made them before. People are gonna hate you forever. Well, so be it. Whatever happens, I will always be a member of whoever is going to be here. Protect the community, do whatever I can. I don't care who's here. And again, that's a tough decision you all have to make. And it's never easy. We've done it before. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you get rid of the problem? Which is the head. Cut the head off the snake.
and that's.
Point blank, cut the head off the snake. I've got a shovel. That's how we take care of it. You cut the head off the snake.
And that's the hard part. And I
Can
think the
you
problem
can you
is
do that and say you're done? And I know it's hard because I want a fire department. I trust these firemen. I trust all of them. But I can't afford it. But if my house burns to the ground, you can't tell me hell or high water him aren't going to bust through a window to get somebody out, or anyone on this board. Cut the head off the snake. Can that be done?
And that would be
Can
the
it?
I
question.
think, I was just gonna say, that's a question for the attorney.
And she's
You're-
not
you're
sure.
Well, they put policies and procedures in place through their corporate bylaws that were just passed a few months ago. So discipline falls on the chief. And if the chief fails to discipline, then it falls back on the board of trustees because there's no board of commissioners. So certainly there can be disciplinary actions that are taken, but we have to know about the violations. And that's where a big problem is no one is willing to come forward and say X, Y, and Z happened. That's a violation of our bylaws to be able to have TJ, or if that doesn't happen, have the board do it. So that's where the main problem is that no one's willing to come forward to actually have a complaint.
I would. I'm not a fireman.
Well, you don't have to. You don't have to be a fireman.
I know what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying. But she said it very bluntly, cut off the head of the snake and you solved the problem, basically.
But then again, I see where TJ is sitting, and he feels like he's being thrown down the well, and I understand. and I understand that, and it's got to be so hard for him to sit here and know which side of the fence to sit on,
Yep.
because he's.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's busting his ass and think he's
way.
trying.
And we hear it. We hear the training coming. We hear it. We hear it. It's.
But it wasn't
it's-
enough for the towns.
Right.
But it's horrible
And
to
it's,
have
how
everyone
can it be enough
suffer
for us?
because of the head of the snake.
Well, I think
It's
that's in the assumption that this board hasn't been working to make sure that you have fire protection, one way or the other.
and you guys have done a great job.
We have, and we are prepared.
Tomorrow,
We are prepared tomorrow
if needed.
If needed. So.
And
Yeah.
I hate to see so many good firemen.
Well, that doesn't mean they can't join
That's right.
and run out of this new
I
station.
know, but once Copenhagen they're put down, they're all gonna get, you know how, like a bully is in school,
That's.
and it's bad. And I'm not saying, because I understand you're going, because I don't want my taxes to go up. I want my grandkids to stay here. But, if they can't afford it, everybody's moving to Florida. Which I wouldn't do, but no.
On Tennessee.
You don't want to I like Copenhagen, so.
We all do. I mean, again, I came back after years to come back here, so.
Regardless, I'm staying because they got snakes down south from the boat.
Take your shovel.
Yeah. Go ahead, so TJ, anything to add at this point?
Sure. And she's right. I'm on the fence line, both sides. I don't run the financial side of the fire department at all. Okay, I'm on the board, but I don't run the financial side. I don't pay the bills. I give them what I need to operate, and that's what I use. I believe. You read the minutes. I'm in there quite a bit in the minutes. I'm in for a lot of options in there, I believe half of us, and I don't want to speak for anybody over there, but I believe half of us over at the fire department are willing to give up the financial side of it and not give up the rest. And that's just, from talk over there. And it's been a lot of talk. Don't matter where this goes, who owns the fire department, who owns the equipment. I'm still going to volunteer now, 10 years from now, if it's Copenhagen Inc. or the Village of Copenhagen or Cashland, I'm still going to volunteer. My son's in it. Obviously, my dad went exempt. So I'm still going to be a member either way, whatever way it goes. So, I'm here to protect and serve, do my job, and move forward. I'm not into politics. So, another other thing I got is, and it kind of sits in the back of my head a little bit. I'm gonna speak on this is just me personally. If we demolish the fire department, we should demolish the village board. Okay, that's just my opinion. I got no personal vendettas against anybody. But without a fire department, why do we need a village?
Because we
What?
live in it.
I understand. But why couldn't we go to a town? You know, the village is only gonna have streetlights, garbage, sewage, that's just my opinion. Town of Denmark plows our roads already, that's just my opinion, My own opinion is, I reached out to the supervisor in town of Denmark and a few other people about going to, possibility a fire district or that avenue with the fire department. Have Cashland and Copenhagen as one fire department in the town of Denmark. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know the avenue. I do know the avenue going down the road. You have to go to a district, but that was just something I threw out there.
Well, in order for that to happen, you have to abolish both fire departments. And the town has to sponsor you. Or you have to go around and get a petition of 50 to 60% of the property value owners. So it's a very long, it's a long process.
Is you'll still have fire commissioners.
Right.
They are your fire
Right.
commissioners.
But it would be the town, not.
No, it wouldn't be the town. That's just it. It would be fire commissioners.
Right.
And in general, when you move into a district, they are much more expensive because the commissioners are generally ex-firefighters. And
I come
they
from a
basically
fire
get-
district, yes.
They get they write a check.
That's just,
And the taxpayers pay for it.
that's just my opinion.
So your average district, just for the public's information, is around $2 a thousand. We pay $1.75 in the village this year,
Yep.
and that's with our compensation bill. And even if we go to a district, our compensation bill doesn't go away.
We still have it.
I
We
realize
still
that.
have that. So the injuries that we have now, our compensation bill has crested. It is now on the way down, but it is not going away. And if there's any other injuries or there's any other claims from previous injuries, again, our compensation goes up accordingly. So, for this village, a district would be a huge expense. So if we didn't pay enough now, it would be like keeping our fire department without the towns. So, yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, thank you, TJ. All set?
Mark, how many members does Cashland have? Isn't it like 50 somewhere?
Yeah, I think it is. It's
I'm not
almost
sure.
They have 40 interiors, and then their total number is like 70 members, and that includes fire, police, and everything else.
And they want to dissolve that and dissolve Copenhagen so that they can join together. It's never going to happen. Not in this
I don't
time,
believe
by the
Cashland
time
will
next
go for
year.
it. They might. I doubt it.
I doubt it. No, Casterland has a great department, and I don't think
I
that.
guess they have one member pushing it, but
Yeah, but I think their village board would have something to say about that. I think,
Yeah, but their firemen work together,
yes,
not against each other.
and their village works with
And
them.
against the village.
now I'm not sure. But with my understanding that if you abolish Copenhagen and they abolish Cashman, the AG is going to come in and take the trucks like they did at Champion. They might be tied up for 2 or 3 years before anybody gets anything.
Well, yeah, right.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, it's the incorporation side of things that takes the time to go away, not the actual departments. So, our department is, right,
The assets are what take.
right.
It would be Denmark's responsibility to put up a fire station somewhere.
Yes, you would have to, yes, the town would have to bear the burden of putting up a
Chances are there's not
station.
going to be one here, one in Cashman. It's going to be
Right.
one in the middle.
Yes. And so
Chances
response
are.
times for everyone go up. Yes. So, I think, yeah, okay. Sorry.
So, at this point, we make a decision. Do we move on, and since no response, have to have a motion to move. The two options are give them more time. We have till our next meeting, but even then, as Candace says, we're already short time now. We need to, or we start the process of abolishing and moving forward and down that route.
We have not received any official response
No.
from them.
No letter.
No,
never
the
got
meeting
that
minutes
certified.
said we were supposed to get a letter.
Mm-hmm.
I have not received a letter. The only letter that I got by email today was that one that I
Right.
just handed you.
And that
So-
was from Di.
So TJ, how is the response supposed to come? Or is there a response?
According, when I was at the meeting, it was coming from the lawyer, but
As of last meeting,
Yes.
Jim Henry got on his phone and said the delivery time was 7 o'clock the next night or that night for that certified letter. He tracked it, according, that's what he sit there and said.
Yeah.
That he tracked the tracking number on it and it was to be delivered at 7 o'clock that night. Certified letter.
Yeah, we
I know there's a meeting tomorrow night, so I don't know if, you know, like I said, I'm not 100% sure if they are in contact with our attorney or if there's a letter. I'm not 100% sure. I know there's a meeting tomorrow night, 7 o'clock.
Did we get their, yeah, I don't know. I
No
think
letter.
we don't.
I have not received a letter at my office.
And we haven't
We
here.
haven't.
Can I ask a question? Has there been any pressure from the firemen that are still there towards the one person that's handling the money and is responsible, and we all know who that is? Has there been pressure from any of the firemen like you that say, we want to be here? Can't you?
There has. It's 50-50.
Okay. So,
So,
I would
hard
like to
decision.
say, everybody is going to disagree with me. I would like to wait at least the 1 month to give it time for that letter to come.
I think we've,
no.
we don't have that kind of time.
If we were to give him any time, you said you got a meeting tomorrow night, 10 o'clock tomorrow night, have the call to the
Yeah.
mayor.
I don't
If
even,
you decide to give him any time after the meeting.
I don't think we
It
did.
doesn't take that long for a registered letter, certified mail.
No.
No.
I think they've told us, they've made,
They made it clear.
but they've made it clear that they're not gonna work with us. I mean, their minutes are clear.
Mhm.
It's, you know, there's so much in there that if you read it, it
Read
is.
between the lines, it's there that
Yeah,
there's no intention to.
there's no intention to comply.
All right, let's make a motion to move on.
So,
I
motion.
make a
Has to
motion
be
to
very
move on.
specific.
To go with option B, basically.
Need to have, you gotta say a motion for a resolution to abolish. It needs to be very specific.
All right, make a resolution to abolish fire department.
I have a motion by Sharif to start the process to abolish the fire department. Do I have a second?
I'm gonna second it.
I got a second from Kim. Any other discussion at this time? Hearing none, going around. Sharif,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Patty.
No.
Myself, yes. Motion carries. So that starts our process.
So, does that take effect immediately? Does that take effect tomorrow? Does it?
Yeah.
I guess, do we need to
They
set a
have
time?
current contracts out until the end of the year.
But I think given the fact that we have moved to abolish, can we expect them to
I would think they would.
continue?
Mm,
So do we
I mean,
need
that
to?
would be a question for TJ if they're still gonna continue.
That'd be their board tomorrow night, too.
Right,
I wouldn't put it on TJ at the moment because it's not his call.
right. No, I know, but that's what I'm saying, it's up to them.
So should we say after a response?
Tomorrow night. All right, so
You're
at
n-
this
But you're
point,
not gonna wait for, you're not now waiting for a response.
Okay, so we're just gonna, we're moving forward.
Right.
Okay.
You mean responsive if they're going to continue to answer calls
Well,
or?
I think that, you know, in all of this planning process, the contracting entities have been made aware that this could happen.
Mhm.
So I think they have made their own provisions.
should that
Yeah.
occur. Okay.
Should we go down this road?
Right. I
They
mean,
are-
they still have the ability to petition and have a referendum.
Right. And
I
that's a
mean,
30
so that
It's still-
time period's still there, so nothing can happen during, during that time period. They're still there because someone can file it.
Mhm.
So basically, it takes place 30 days from today then, correct?
Right, that, unless they try to ask for more time, but,
Well, that would be the petition.
right.
Yeah.
Right, so that's 30 days from, the permissive referendums are allowed for 30 days.
Yeah,
Okay.
So if the siren blows, do the firemen go?
yes.
If
Yeah.
they respond,
Do you want?
Insurance still covers them.
okay, if they respond and hand what's God forbid, the financial report in, would that make any kind of a difference?
They've already done,
Just-
yeah.
I mean,
We're beyond it.
Maybe on that date.
So,
we started asking, at least when I came on in January.
And we were asking before that.
And
The
even if they
firemen
turn them
themselves don't get a
over,
real report.
I mean, even if they turn it over, what does it say, right? So it's not just the actual document, but what's contained in it. So I can't tell you, I could have everything and maybe what I have isn't great. So if I don't know what's in there, so if they turned everything over, it could be not good. So if they do, great, but I mean, I don't think at this point in time I could tell you with any certainty that would be the case.
so this resolution is 30 days. I want to confirm that's what she documents.
Right.
We need to add something.
They have that time to file the
Okay,
petition.
So it's 30 days. Okay.
Yep, it's just like yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's subject to permissive referendum.
All right. Anything else with the fire department at this time we need to discuss?
Can I ask how many signatures are needed on the petition for referendum?
It's not, it's a percentage, and I can't tell you right
Yeah, I
off the
don't
top
know.
of my head. You'd have to check with the Board of Elections.
Or the attorney who's looking it up on her phone.
It's a percentage of the last,
No, I know, I just didn't know.
Yeah,
if they
I
actually
can't-
The
have a
last,
number.
yes.
Census?
yeah, no, the last
election.
yeah, the last election registered voters
So are they still your fire department till the end of the year?
till the 30th. 30 days from today,
30 days.
because we have to allow for the permissive referendum.
Yep.
So,
All right.
And there's no fire department after that.
well,
Technically, there's no fire department.
There's no
after that.
village.
So how long does it take?
there's no
to-
village.
How long
fire-
does it take for a new fire department to get up and running again?
There's no new fire department. We'll have a contract with someone else.
I didn't say that.
Hey.
I'm asking council.
Tomorrow.
I'm
Tomorrow,
not
you're
asking
not
you.
asking council, you're asking this
How long
board.
does it take to get a new fire department if everybody quit, and that all happened, 30 days you're down, or at the end of the contract, at the end of the year, okay? How long would it take for the village to re-establish?
We would have
fire
coverage,
protection?
we would have coverage tomorrow. We have made sure.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes.
Yeah, we would have coverage. If we had to make a call right now, we would be covered. We have
But
made
it's not a
sure to
village,
have
right.
those plans in place.
But it's not a village fire department.
Right,
We need
it's
to be
a
clear about
separate
that.
contracted entity that could now run from the village.
And sir, I ask that you address this board, please. So, respect this board. Thank you. All right,
Respect the taxpayers, then. I'm addressing the board now.
thank you.
That's what we doing, bro.
All right, all right.
How come you always throw heat?
Okay,
Oh, no, I let it go.
Sorry.
I let it go. I let it go.
all right. Very good, thank you, everybody. All right, moving on, correspondence. Tuggle Community Recognition Award, Copenhagen's been awarded the streets. Mickey touched on it earlier. There is the invite out if anybody wants to go. please let me know, and we'll,
Does everybody get the recog? Does everybody get Mickey's emails directly? I know,
I usually
Lori-
try to forward.
yeah,
Forward 'em
Lori
out.
pushes them out too, so just to make sure everybody gets them. And I got an invite in the mail too.
yes, I did too.
Okay, so you should have, did you either?
I'm planning on attending probably too, so if
That'll
anybody
be
else
great.
wants to.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Okay.
But yeah, the award we're getting is for the walkability work that we did.
Yep, yep.
So we submitted that, help me Mickey, we submitted that with
Yeah, with the Ferret and Carthage.
In Carthage.
Yes, and it
'Cause-
was a joint thing with BOCES too.
Yep.
The BOCES students worked on those projects.
Yep,
so.
so we just submitted a letter, I think, you guys all got a copy of
Yep.
that, and we submitted that with them, and we were awarded,
Yep.
so,
Okay.
good stuff.
What's that?
That's yours.
That's mine, yes. So, yeah, everybody wants to go, let me know. We need to RSVP here by October 7th, so. We get 2 complimentary dinners, so anybody else is welcome, just let me know if you wanna go. I plan to go, so. Right. Next one I have is a letter from Copenhagen Cares. Everybody should have a copy of that. Any questions? And it's kind of on here too. I'll turn it over to Molly if you want to.
Okay, I don't know if you want to
What's that?
touch on what the letter was about.
So the
but-
letter was about the electricity.
Yeah,
I think at this point, unless we can go solar,
yeah. We're not going to do anything with electricity probably
Okay.
till.
yeah, till next
Because
year
it was,
maybe.
it was offered to do any of the wiring for free, so if there was the opportunity for someone to even donate a solar panel, there still has to be stuff done in that little garage, was one of the main points, so that you would have storage of your power if there was a solar panel put on the roof of that pavilion.
Yep.
So that was kind of the gist of that, like looking at other options, knowing that you don't want to have to put a pole, you don't want to have an electrical bill associated with that, but from the accessibility, from the all of the standpoints of safety, to have all of that in place, inclusivity of all people, I mean, there has to be some kind of power source down there. So if
I think if we do something, it would probably have to be next year.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be this year. It's something.
okay, I mean, and we're saying we know it wouldn't happen this year, but when spring rolls around, to be able to say, okay, even if it's funding that we look at somehow through
Well, 'cause
grants or
That's
Yeah,
what I was
that's-
just gonna say, because there's some really nice grants coming up, and I gotta work with the county. Cassandra Buell's back on board, so, which I was very excited to see her, by the way.
yeah, I
She's
mean,
back, and so
'cause
I'd like
winter's
to,
coming. We know that it's
Yeah.
not going to be something
Right.
that's used in the next several months to its maximum capacity, but as spring rolls around, to keep
Right.
that in the back of
and
people's
it might be
minds.
something that we can roll into some other work that, I'd like to do with the grant work. So, yeah, I'll talk with Cassandra about that.
And then I just had a couple other things. Can I
Sure.
mention those? Okay.
Sure.
So this month we've broached a full year of Copenhagen Cares Collaborative, so that's exciting. We've made it a year. And basically the letter was written looking to see the feasibility of having electricity. And then we have talked that we would come periodically to update everybody here and community members who are interested in what we're doing. We would also like to set a date with the village for the flower pots to get stuff. Doesn't have to be next week, but just getting a plan in place for taking those down, getting them stored, and just creating a plan so we're not expecting at the last minute. So courtesy there. Also looking at the update of the bandstand. So for those who have been hounding the village about that, we have approached Ronnie and Robert Johnson, who were the creators of that bandstand, I believe in 2014. Approached them, and they have said they would be happy to help with the materials and the cost. We just submitted to them the estimate For those, they're gonna take a look at them and make the decision to get the bandstand repaired, and they know that we'd like it done before winter. So that was good news. And again, and hopefully, we're working with the fire department for a Christmas parade and Christmas events, but I guess we kind of wait and see on that. And again, just continuing you guys as a board for supporting us. Thank you for coming out on Sunday. And again, if anybody has questions, Chris Vogt, myself, are always available to answer those.
And when do you have your regular meetings?
We have our regular meetings the second Thursday of the month. And there's currently 4 members, and we meet at the Dragonfly Salon, so anybody's welcome to attend.
Thank you very much.
Who did the food?
Who did the food?
Yeah, because that chicken was real good.
Mike Sullivan and a couple of his buddies cooked the chicken.
Okay.
Joyce and her family prepared the salads and all of that, and that was all their donation to then raise money for the 4-H club that is here locally. It was to raise money for the Copenhagen Cares to maintain the pavilion and the area, along with their 4-H club. So the money will be divided between a few entities.
Because that salad, the pasta salad was
I'll
pretty
pass
good.
that along.
Like my
I'll let
grandmother
her
and my
know.
aunt are probably the only ones that can make good salads.
Okay, I'll let her know.
But don't let them know I said it. We take it off the tape.
Wait, I was just gonna say, you're doing it now, man.
They're watching.
All right, thank you very much, Molly.
Thank you, guys.
All right, no other correspondence. We'll move on to new business. Our next one is Irs Mileage Increase. We have an increase.
Oh, yeah, motion for resolution to increase to the new mileage rate, which was 62.5?
Yeah, 62.5.
262.5. There you go. There's your resolution, hon.
Okay, motion from Kim. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded from Sharif. Any other discussion? Going around, Sharif,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yep.
Patty.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item. Next item I have is the budget adjustment for resolutions for the Pratt Northam grant that we received for the pavilion. So we need to basically put it into the budget.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you gave it to me.
Yeah, and that was for the concrete. That was for specific portions of that, right?
Yeah, we're gonna probably have to work on some of those bills, that some of them we've maxed out to 10,000, so. So I got a trustee to offer a motion for resolution to create an account for the budget under special recreational sub-account Park Pavilion, A8810.42, to account for monetary transactions for the Park Pavilion that is being erected. And I need a second. I need somebody to make that motion for resolution.
So I'll make the motion.
Motion from Kim, second. Second from Sharif.
So what does that mean?
We basically create an account in the budget on one side for the income from Platinum North. And then we also create a line item on the expense side so that the budget
Okay.
properly dies.
So it's properly accounted for.
Okay.
So I got a motion from Kim, second from Sharif. Any other discussion? Go around, Sharif.
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes, sir.
Patty,
Yes.
myself, yes. Motion carried. They're both the same numbers, yeah.
Yeah, I get some
Oh, okay. Okay. So the other resolution we have is to offer a motion for resolution to move 10,000 from the gifts and donations account A2705, the money donated for the Park Pavilion by Pratt Northam, to the Park Pavilion account A8810.42 under special recreational. I need a second for that. So I need a motion. I'll make a motion for that. Motion from Sharif, you have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Second from Carrie. Any other discussion? All around, Sharif,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Patty,
Yes.
myself, yes. Motion carried. All right. Any other new business at this time? Seeing none, going on, old business. Sewer and water project update. I got an email from Matt. Everybody should have got that. Print it? Yeah, he printed a synopsis. I'm just gonna read the synopsis here real quick. Oh, he's got them bold, but I had it. Wait a moment, I had it. It was easy to read from his.
Yeah, from his email. There really was no update.
No,
There was,
just
it was,
it was basically,
was
so the
basically-
bond he's got him here, hold on, try to go from here. The revised bond resolution passed, of course, last month, $377,000 loan, revising loan documents to increased amount. The Water Infrastructure Improvement, or the WIA Act, we got a $90,000 grant application that's been submitted this month. Would decrease the loan amount for project if awarded. The scheduling is on, rebid after new water quality, the WQIP award, that's in December, so we're looking for that upcoming. DEC compliance, we'll need to request an extension to the compliance schedule. I believe he's working on that. And waiting at EFC to schedule closing, so for the loan. Action items of this, none at this time. The water supply project, we've been awarded $660,600. They're scheduling, they're looking to submit some financing application in progress, and then of course the design is in progress. Action items, none at this time. Moving on, we have old business update on the Pavilion. Everybody knows that the Pavilion is up. They had over the weekend. Sherry's not here for any updates. We do have some bills we'll have to go over with Sherry because, again, we went over the 10,000. We'll need to determine
I just did it up to the 10,000.
up to 10,000.
yeah, that's right, that's what we were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll need to work with Sherry on that and figure out what we're gonna do.
I'm giving her the check and then she can.
Yes.
How much
Yeah.
over is
Okay.
it that of the 10,000 total?
Hmm?
How much was the project total in 10,000?
I don't know if I have everything.
Yeah, we're still kind of working on that, so we need to follow up on a couple things with that. So.
But she's paying the balance of that money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, like it's not
Yeah.
anything in advance, okay,
Yeah.
so everybody knows
Yeah.
that, that
Yeah.
was. Yes.
So that'll stay on till next month. We'll get up with Sherry and finish up with that. Anything else on that, or are you good? I see you're holding that.
So this is the
Mold.
mold.
Okay, next item is our mold for our statue. I'll turn that over and let you, what do you got?
Well, I spoke to Jeff Spring from the Modern Art Foundation who did the sword before. He asked for pictures and I sent him, and he said he could come up here and do a cold weld on the tip of it to make it smaller, like make it just the length it is now, because he thinks it may keep breaking
Because it's long.
because it's long and we live where we live. And it's we say made of zinc,
Zinc?
I think.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he said that wouldn't, it wouldn't hold up as well, but there's really not much you can. But he said he would come up here in the spring and repair it for $1,500 if somebody was to get the scaffolding and put up, like they did before, I guess, when he,
Yeah.
him and his father came. So that's a,
And they bring the molds with them?
yes, and he will bring the
Mold.
mold that we're trying to get. He would bring that with him. So it's kinda up to you if you
Do we wanna,
like to do that.
We would take that money out of what account?
budget line item would we be looking at?
Would we use, do we have a statute? Do we have a statute?
I thought we
line item?
put something in
You know,
to cover that.
We might have.
It's gonna cost almost that much just to have the mold.
I know, right, it should here,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or if we took a road trip. You're too willing. I know.
monument.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
There's $1,000 in there right now.
So if we held them off until June? Did we hold them off till June?
Yeah, he's really not interested in coming up here with a
Gee, I don't know why.
Yeah, so. if
So
we
yeah,
could-
if you could tell him, can we do that tentatively June?
Yeah, if
Can
you
we-
ask him if he'll do it in June, I mean,
Yeah, because then we've got our new budget year and we'd have,
filling in on that. and-
yeah, because we could roll that 1,000 over and
So,
do it.
We also have enough in contingency too.
Well,
And we'd only have to roll over 500. And that's up to 1,500. He said it could be like 1,000 to 1,500.
oh,
oh,
well, I guess that's up to the.
It's up to the board.
Whatever you guys want to do.
I'm just giving
yep,
information.
yeah.
Weather-wise and snow conditions, you might better wait till later in the spring or June anyway.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
Be able to
thinking June.
get to it with the scaffold or whatever.
Yeah.
For all we know, June might be spring.
What did we get the scaffolding from last time?
I don't know if any local had it or what.
Does he have to have scaffold or
But you can get hold of
Yeah,
posts,
because
electric
it-
lifts.
lift?
Posts,
Well,
you
I
got
guess
that
he
lift.
could do that too.
Rental
Yeah.
lift?
Yeah.
Throw behind the pickup, bag it in there.
The problem with a lift is they have to be on level, real level.
They could sit beside the road and it would reach there.
Yeah,
Could they?
oh,
Okay.
yeah,
the
there's
back.
ones that will reach up there,
Some of those lifts, actually, you can adjust different lengths, like
Oh, okay.
spiders,
Okay.
different lengths.
so.
So, all right. Well, yeah, sure.
Motion.
Do we need a motion, or we're just gonna kind of see if he'll wait till June?
Yeah, we can put this off till
Yeah,
next
let's
month and
see.
see if he'll.
Yeah, see if he'll,
Alright,
wait till June, and then, like I said, we'll have a new flusher line there, because if we gotta get scaffolding. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
thank you. If we have to get scaffolding and stuff, we're gonna have to pay for that too, probably. Or the lift, so, we'll need to add some
see,
extra.
see if he'll accept the lift rather than scaffolding.
Yeah.
But, he will.
Okay.
He said he just needs something that he was referring to last time when he was.
Right,
referring
sure,
to
they,
that.
right. Yeah, we don't, the village doesn't have scaffolding that I know of,
No.
so.
Alright.
Yeah, no.
Dump on a hoist.
Alright,
Buddy straps. You're going up anyways, Dave.
Anka. Alright, Anka audit.
Yeah,
You
just,
submitted it? That was the
No problem.
question? The
no,
Anka.
no, that's
Oh,
the,
that was
that's
like-
the energy, that you're thinking about something else. That's,
Oh,
that's
okay.
the energy thing, and yeah,
Okay.
there's,
That's the
moving on.
National Grid thing.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
National Grid stuff,
Gotcha.
and,
Alright, so Anka,
yeah, we're moving on.
okay.
We're just gonna keep that on there forever, Mark, just
Yeah, I
just to
know.
confuse you in perpetuity.
Yep. Mill Street Culvert, still holding on that one.
Yeah, that was discussed last month too, wasn't about a rock shelf through there too, so
Yeah.
I'm really gonna put, if we just,
Yeah,
I'll also see Terry and see what's on, cooking on his mind,
Yeah.
so.
please, let me know.
Mhm.
Thank you. LED lighting.
So, obviously, all the lights have been done. We submitted last month our substantial completion on the LED lighting part of it. Still waiting for the smart city controls and the cameras.
So the lights haven't been done in the town barn yet either.
No, nope, and those come with the smart city
Okay.
controls. They're coming in the next phase of the project, so, I just gotta find out from Ilya when. we
They're
get
wrapping
to
up
speak.
everything.
got an email today for training.
Oh, did you?
Oh, good. So that means they're moving along.
Rich, when was that? September 28th, I think?
Yeah, next Wednesday.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. So that means they're moving through this then.
Well, that, he was supposed to repair the LEDs. If they're going, but, I mean,
Oh, so if one is out,
Oh.
you need to let me know so that I can get a hold of NIPA?
okay. 'Cause
Yep.
the reason I even asked that question, we got a call from Underground today. And apparently National Grid gave them a bunch of information about streetlights. So we're gonna get a call on them now too for any underground, I don't know why.
No.
They didn't really know what to do either, it's one of those left field things, so I said, yeah, put us on the notification, we always can take it off. But I
Yeah,
wasn't even
right.
sure who's supposed to even call to get them repaired.
Yeah, no, because the idea is when we get the smart city controls,
Mhm.
if a light goes out, it's actually supposed to send a signal to the
Okay.
maintenance company directly.
Okay,
So we won't even have to,
that's good.
you know,
I
instead
just-
of having to call, you know, like now you gotta look up at the pole number and call
Mhm.
National Grid and wait 6 months.
Right,
You know, now this will send a signal to NIPA and they will work with their contractor to,
okay, good.
to repair it,
Technically,
so-
they should last for quite a while anyway.
yes,
Yeah.
yep, they should,
Yeah.
yep,
Good.
yep.
Okay. All right, so all set on that then?
Yep.
28, all right. Next item, gazebo repair, which we covered with Molly, and we'll look forward to.
Hopefully in the next week we'll have an
Yep.
answer.
Thank you. Next item, bus stop. Any updates we're putting
Yep,
in?
so I got an email from Samantha Brown at the county today and probably next week. She's gonna let me know as soon as they have it scheduled. So, cause she asked if the site work was done and I said, yes, the site work is complete, just waiting on you guys.
Mhm.
Yep.
All set? No updates this time from county soil and water on our drainage. Maiden Lane has been repaired and paved. We'll bring that one off our list.
Yay, the bills were in there, so we're done.
I have community cares, of course, I took care of that, it'll be up on the front of it next time, so thank you. Move it up to the beginning, well, just after Matt's, probably put them right there. Let me have that. Okay. And the last item I have is the water rates for IMA for Denmark. Everybody knows we need to adjust that a little bit, so.
Yep, so I started the calculations on that. I got the water production from Rich, I got the expenses from Lori. So I put that into a spreadsheet. Now Mark just has to go
Yeah.
through it and do his thing. It looks like we'll be able to reduce that, which and maybe I need to back up a little bit because I didn't even think about the fact that you guys are all new to this.
Yeah.
So the IMA that we have with the town requires that each year we revisit their water rate. And their water rate is based on actual production, which is actual production at the wells. And then the actual expenses through our budget. So what we've actually expended for a year. So we go from June 1 to May 31 each year. And when we do that calculation, we then multiply it by 1.15 or 15% over what it actually costs us to produce water. Does that make sense, everybody? So if at any time we need to renegotiate that, we find that that rate isn't working for us or something is off, we have to go back to the negotiation table with the town. But at this point, I don't see any reason to do that. It's a pretty simple calculation. So, but as soon as Mark has looked at that, we'll push that out to everybody and have you guys take a look at it so that next month we can approve it and get it to the town. So, okay.
All right. I think that's the last time. Any other old business this time? Okay. This time we're gonna go to open forum. We'll go around.
I want to thank Mark and Patty and Scott Alexander for helping me out and being concerned about my right-of-way when the pavilion was supposed to be in one location and it got moved 15 foot. But I thank you guys for helping me out on that and make sure I got it.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That it? Yes, sir.
I have nothing.
Judy?
No.
Bill? Molly?
You're up. No,
No?
I'm up.
Yep.
There we go. I only got a couple things this time. I'm pretty short tonight. When Copenhagen Cares does any project, it's got to be approved through the village board.
Projects on the village side
Property.
of things, anything,
So
but
we,
anything they're doing internally.
Right.
If they're doing something,
Projects through the village.
they
Sure.
need to come.
right.
And hence, Molly, we're adding her to the every month to make sure we're.
Sure.
And we did approve the pavilion project,
Hmm.
if that's what you're.
Nope, I know you did.
Yep, and then, the other thing we did was put the permit in place for a use
Yeah, we gotta.
of
Use of the.
facility. Right.
So anytime there's an event, just let me know and I can shoot you the form.
Yeah, somebody, when there's an event they wanna use the pavilion, they have to come to the village. and get
Right,
the form.
just, it's a liability thing.
Now, is that for anybody?
No, more for, like if there's gonna be a vendor or a large group. If you're going down there with your family.
What if that little girl wants to sell lemonade again?
Yeah, that has to come here, I know,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that has to come here.
Yeah.
So that's what the permit is for, yeah.
That's good.
Yep.
And if it comes B, would you be opposed to an aluminum handicap ramp for the bandstand?
Would it have the proper, like, treading so that we couldn't,
Would have,
Yeah.
will have,
Will have?
will have.
Then I'm not opposed to it. I think,
Sometimes that stuff appears
Yep.
different places and people have for sale, whatever. It's all adjustable legs.
Yes,
You wouldn't
Right.
have to dig down for it.
right.
yeah, just recently.
And it would get us to where we need to be until we could, make something more permanent, couldn't it?
Wouldn't have to make it permanent.
Yeah.
Is that something that's required?
Well, it isn't.
No, it's not required.
It's not required.
But you can't get on the bandstand in a wheelchair.
Yeah, and
Even-
it,
But
even
is
if
that
it's not a
something we-
wheelchair, some people walking, it's easier to walk up a ramp than
Yes.
to.
well, and
Just
Al-
asking the question.
And honestly, the steps up there are terrible. They're like this wide, and they go straight up. So they're just not fun to navigate, especially in if you're carrying anything or trying to do things.
Anything else, Scott?
No. Thank you. I know Sherry Simmons did the whole thing down there, and it looks really great, it does. But there was a $10,000 grant that she got, and I have not read one single thing,
Yeah, we're aware of that.
and that's not right. I mean, what she did was great down there, and it looks awesome. And like Scott and I were talking, Christmas is gonna look beautiful down there. But what about putting a sign up to thank
Fred
them?
Northrum
Yeah.
needs to be recognized
Yeah.
there.
Because-
Which that was mentioned, and that's, again, all of
Yeah.
it's a process, that was mentioned on
Mhm.
Sunday.
Yeah.
So she did make mention of
And
that.
I think, like
A
you said,
plaque.
just a little plaque or
Or
something.
something
and-
engraved somewhere.
Right.
Maybe that's the way to do it.
Maybe Scott Simmons can put it on
The post,
or something.
the poles or something, carve it in, that would be nice
That would
too.
probably
Yep.
make sure we have.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Anything else? Dale?
Doggy bags.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, day job.
I'm gonna go back to Mr. Alexander.
Does the village, does the village carry insurance on that property?
Yes.
For
Yes.
any events that happens, if somebody sues?
Yep, that's the reason for the,
It's the village they're suing, not the group.
Yes,
Yes.
correct. Yes.
that's the reason for the usage form
Yep.
permit.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. TJ?
Nothing.
Mike? All right, very good, everybody, thank you
Oh,
very
I
much.
do.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, Molly's here. That garage down there, that is still ours, correct? For the village for storage?
Yeah, because that's where all
Okay.
my off-season stuff goes. That's where my mower.
Hold on, wait for him
That's
to,
right.
go
Is
ahead.
that where all, like my mower goes?
Yep, yeah,
And that's
it's still
where I-
there.
Okay.
Oh, I know it's still there, but is it for us
No,
to
it's,
use?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
It's
the
only,
village is-
only us.
It is narrow behind there now, of course, but we can work around that. We never had big equipment really, but we
Yeah.
had tractor and stuff to get the blowers off and stuff like this for storage, so. Oh yeah, but I've heard talk that they kind of want to take it over for their own storage
Oh,
now and stuff. And I just kind of want to get that out in the minutes. Okay, good.
Okay, no,
I'm all set.
And then I just do want to add, because I know there are questions on the percentage for the referendum. So section 9902 states that the resolution does not take effect until 30 days after its adoption. Obviously that gives time for anyone who wants to file a petition. And the petition has to be filed with the village clerk, signed and acknowledged by electors of the village in a number equal to at least 20% of electors in the village, as shown in the register of electors from the previous general village election. And then if 20% or more sign the petition and is filed, then it goes to a majority vote of the village.
Right.
And that's, again, that's section 9902.
Thank you, Candace.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right.
So just a question, just clarification. If we had 200 voters this last election, you would need 40 signatures.
Correct.
Of registered voters.
Yes, from the last election.
Right, not vote, not straight voters,
It has to be
registered
It has
voters.
to be registered voters on the rolls from the
Right.
last election.
Right. Which I believe is somewhere around almost pushing 400.
That's it. All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Mark,
Yes.
I have a question that just came to my mind. Somebody asked me, the sign that's at the village park dedicating to Ted Simmons and everything, that says the park, not the pavilion.
Does it?
Yeah, and that is a problem.
There might be a
Somebody said
legal
that to me.
technicality there because you had grant money go toward the pavilion, so you can't put it on the pavilion.
But the sign
But
itself
is the sign
says
right?
the Ted Simmons Memorial Park.
Right, and
but
it
they
means-
can't call it the Ted Simmons Memorial Band or Pavilion because grant money went into it.
Right. Well, the only reason it was brought to my attention was because many, many moons ago,
Yeah, that was
before
that's
us,
right.
Oh.
that
That's right.
park was dedicated in memorial Bob Cooper.
Yes, correct.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So
a lot of
there's
that went when the new
a-
bridge went in.
Yeah,
A lot
most-
of that
yep.
property went when the new bridge went in.
Correct, but the park
Yeah, you're right.
was
Yes.
still.
And I think that we had all agreed it was River Park. You know, they had always
Yeah.
called it the River Park. So,
Yeah, so-
you know, it was supposed to be
I've
Ted
never heard that till
Simmons
this year.
Pavilion
Pavilion.
at River Park. So I think, yeah,
We
we
need to-
definitely need to visit with that, so.
Okay.
Yeah, because Bob Cooper owned the building there that was
Yep.
along the river.
Yep.
When he tore it down, he gave the land to the village for a
Yep, sure
park.
did.
Okay.
All
We'll
those
take-
deeds are in this office, yeah.
It's
Take
called
a look at that. All right.
Memorial Park.
Anything else?
They just have a
So now it's
All right.
name.
That being said, we'll move on to bills.
Motion to pay the bills.
And a motion from
Motion for a resolution to pay those bills. There you go.
Second from Sharif. Let me get
Sorry.
all, Sharif, Kim, Patty. All right.
See how
We
cute
need-
Sharif
are we
will
looking
take
for
care of it.
anything?
I should we have one, just a quick
What's it gonna be about? Huh?
We made a motion to pay the bills.
Yeah, I guess it would be under contract, wouldn't it?
Right.
Okay. You want to call, make a motion for it? then?
Sure, so,
Oh, hold on. Thank you. So we're gonna go ahead.
yeah, so I'm gonna make a motion, we go into executive session briefly to discuss the contracts coming up for fire protection. Yeah, as we move forward.
All right, got a motion for executive session contract? Seconded from Sharif. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everybody.